Have you ever said or done anything that you later regretted? Something in the heat of the moment? Have you ever yelled at a stranger? What about in traffic? Well, you may just have been the victim of an amygdala hijack. Good news, there's a better way. You can train your brain through mindfulness to be less emotionally reactive. In this video, you will learn what an amygdala hijacking is, why it happens, and what to do about it. Daniel Goleman, author of Emotional Intelligence, coined the term amygdala hijack to refer to an immediate and overwhelming emotional reaction disproportionate to the stimulus because it triggers a deeper emotional threat, like the threat of your life. Many of you may know that the amygdala is part of the brain that is responsible for your emotional reaction. But what you may not know is that this little guy is a brain bandit. It goes and it steals the functioning of other areas of your brain. So amygdala comes up and shuts off the neocortex, the area in the front that is responsible for logical thinking, conscious thought, and sensory perception. So your logic is overridden with emotion. That's when it hijacks that front part of your brain. To understand why this happens, let's back up several thousands of years ago. It's a beautiful morning, you're just getting up, you're coming out of your cave, you're going to pick some berries, and you look over, you see a rustling in the bushes, and out peers the head of a saber-toothed tiger. There's saliva coming down from his jaws. He's thinking one thing. He's looking at you and he's thinking breakfast. And your amygdala, thankfully, has hijacked your neocortex because this is not a time for digestion or ovulation. And with your neocortex hijacked, you have two thoughts available to you. Do I eat it or does it eat me? And you ran. At least your ancestors did. Sadly, there are no descendants of those who did not run. You see, we are the descendants of the people who had the amygdalas that knew how to get away from the saber-toothed tiger. In today's world, it's like there's a stressor and boom, amygdala hijack. The stressor may be an email, a text message, your boss, a bill being late, somebody in traffic. So it's not that our life is in threat, but it triggers that old part of our brain to come up as if we were about to be eaten by a tiger. Not only that, it floods our entire system with adrenaline and cortisol. And it can pump through our body for up to 4 hours. That's right, we can have an amygdala hijack hangover. 4 hours of those hormones pumping through us. Have you ever experienced that? Where after a big emotional situation, you still feel angry or rage, confusion, overwhelm, upset, fear? That would be the amygdala hijack hangover. Luckily, there are things we can do about this. Thomas Jefferson said, if you are angry, count to 10. And if you're really angry, count to 100. He had a good point. It's very wise because when you count, you are switching on the neocortex. So the part of your brain that has been shut off by the amygdala hijacking gets put back on. So if you start to count while you feel that intense emotion, you can have some space from it. Another thing that you can do is take deep, mindful breaths. When you bring your attention over and over again to the breath, each breath as you have it, you bring yourself into the moment and you calm yourself down. See, the sympathetic nervous system is responsible for fight or flight, and we have the parasympathetic nervous system, that's the rest and digest. So when we take those deep, mindful breaths, we are activating this parasympathetic nervous system, with a net result is that we feel peaceful. There is lots of information about the effectiveness of mindfulness, not just in the moment, but its long-term effects. There's an 8-week course called MBSR that's been around for 25 years. And in this mindfulness-based stress reduction course, they measure some of the people's brains before and after the 8 weeks, doing an MRI, and it shows after that the area in the amygdala is different. So we were burning new neural pathways by meditating and doing the mindfulness practice, that there are structural differences in our brain as a result of the practice. There's been another study where in as little as 4 days of 20 minutes a day of mindfulness practice, that is enough to see a significant difference on tests. So I encourage you to start your own mindfulness practice today and begin burning those new neural pathways. So you don't have to yell at strangers and you don't have to get lost and swept up in the emotions. You can actually be present, you can count, or you can breathe. creating some space from the actual stimulus, working with your old brain, but having new behavior for it. If you come over to richerexperiences.com and leave your email address, I will send you a guided meditation. Have a great day.